What's up, guys? The push-up is probably the most common and simplest upper body exercise that most people are aware of and have access to and practice on a frequent basis. But to this day, it is mind-blowing how frequently I see it done terribly, incorrectly. And if done incorrectly, worst case scenario, we can cause a little bit of damage to the shoulder, but more likely than not, it just results in no progress. And I don't want you guys to be frustrated with your lack of progress in the push-up, and I want to end my frustration with seeing it done improperly. So there's two aspects of it that we're going to fix today, and that's the flaring of the elbows and the high butt position. So the movement we're trying to fix is when we see athletes with their butt in the air and their elbows flaring out, all right? So there's a simple fix to this. And I say simple because I can explain it very quickly, but it is not simple to perform physically because it makes the movement so much more challenging. This is probably why we see it done incorrectly so often, because the correct way is a lot tougher and humans tend to find the path of least resistance, all right? So the key to fixing this, I find, is aiming your chin really far out in front of you. So if I have this object like this dot, and when I set up my push-up position, I have that dot out in front of my hands. This dot gives me a visual target. If I aim my chin out in front of the dot, my elbows will have no choice but to stay in, and my hips will have no choice but to stay low. So if you're strong enough to perform a regular push-up, and it's not the strength that's your issue, it's just the positioning that kind of looks a little funky every now and then, the solution is as easy as this. Pick a spot on the floor, put down a DVD. If you have a dot, put down a dot, and put your hands right behind that dot. And when you attempt the push-up, I want you to aim your chin far out in front of whatever that object is, whether it's a DVD or a dot, and the result is wonderful. As I aim my chin forward, my hips have no choice but to stay down, and my elbows have no choice but to stay tucked in. That puts me in a really great position for my core because my whole body is neutral and tight, and it puts me in a much healthier position for my shoulder. Everything stays tucked in and stable. The only downside is it's a lot more demanding on the tricep. It's a lot more demanding on your whole midsection, your glutes and your abs, and it's just a hell of a lot harder. So if we have to modify, I'll show you that momentarily. But to get the regular push-up out of the way quick, hands behind the dot, aim your chin out in front, and let's do 5. Chin out in front, all the way down and up. 1, 2, 3, don't let your hips sag. Rep number 4 is an example of a bad rep. Chin out in front, hips sag. Not a good thing. We'll see how to modify in a second. Last one, chin out in front, and 5. From a different angle, so hopefully you can see my elbows flaring better. This is what not to do. When I don't aim my chin out in front, my butt stays high, my head goes to the floor, my elbows fly out wide. This is what we want you to do. Chin forward, hips stay down, elbows stay in tight. Much better. Now, if you do not have the strength to perform that properly without your hips sagging, we have 2 options. Option number 1, you can grab a pillow in your living room and use that to kind of elevate you off the ground so you don't have to go as low. Here we have these great mats. If you only have a pillow, that's fine. The larger the object is, the less out in front you can put it. So for these mats, I'm gonna put my hands directly in the middle of them. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna aim my chin out in front. The mats prevent me from going too low, and I can still maintain really good posture and position here, all right? Practice these in small sets. The more you try and do, the uglier the technique is gonna get. This is not a game of doing 100. It is doing 1 to 5 perfectly, and slowly over the next couple of weeks, building that to hopefully sets of 10 and beyond. So when you come back to class, you've built this strong foundation and a solid core, and that way during like a 20-minute AMRAP, our push-ups don't start looking like mermaids stuck on the beach, all right? Now, if you're still not strong enough with that pillow underneath the chest, we can go to a knee push-up. A knee push-up sometimes is the worst offender of this because it's so much easier from the knees to leave your butt behind and just bring your head to the floor. But this will never turn into this. So, for the kneeling push-up, I want you to approach it the same way. We're gonna put an object out on the floor, whether it's a DVD, a dot, or just a scratch you have on your floor. Put it out in front of your hands. Take your knee and still aim that chin out in front of the object, and you'll notice my hips no longer rise in the air. And I can perform this push-up while still having to activate the core, all right? So always have a goal, a target for your chin to reach to, and it'll keep your hips in place. If that's not easy enough, we bring back the pillow, and now we combine both of our options. We're gonna kneel and use the elevated chest position. Hands are in the middle of that object, chin reaches out in front, hips stay down. Leave your ego behind on this one, guys. It's more impressive to have a high quality push-up with a neutral spine and a really safe position for your shoulders and your back. I'd rather see you do the modified version perfectly and slowly build up volume to then maybe advance to 1 rep at the less modified version. I'd rather see that than 100 reps non-modified like a mermaid where you really have no growth and you won't get any better at it. To start, 5 to 8 reps on the minute for 5 rounds is great. As time goes on, less volume with a more challenging modification is better to improve your movement. And then as your ability increases, we can start to increase that volume and enter your newfound movement ability into workouts slowly. But that's the push-up. It's the most common upper body exercise there is. It's also the most commonly done incorrectly. So let's fix that. We have our time where we're maybe stuck in our living room, 5 sets of 5 every single day, practice position, record yourself, send it to me, let me critique it, but get it on video so that we can't lie to ourselves and say, I did it, it was probably good. And let's just get better together. Have a great day, guys.